my wee darlings, and welcome to this week's episode of the Wee Darlin Garage. Today we're going to be installing and doing a step-by-step process of the ARS, or Adventure Rack Systems, mid-rise stage 4 rack system. Alright, so here are the tools that we're going to be using today. We're going to be using a 1/2 inch socket, a 3/16 Allen bit, a 7/32 Allen bit, a 1/2 inch, a 3/8, and a 7/32 combo wrench. I'll be using a 3/8 socket driver, and those are the tools that we're going to use for all of the supplied hardware from Adventure Rack Systems. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to remove the stock bed rail tie downs by pushing in and pulling and sliding. Those pop out nice and easy. We're just going to set those aside for now, and we're going to slide in these gold metal bars, these gold zinc that Metal Cloak is known for, and ARS. Going to just loosen this end cap so these will slide in with ease. However, you don't have to take the cap all the way off. Is that enough?
Yep.
Now do I want to put one of these back in? Alright, so once you have the first one in here, if you want to keep any of your stock tie downs in the system, then I would suggest putting them in now. And then you can slide in your other side. Tighten that back down. We'll do it to the other side. Okay, now we're going to put these ARS bed riser pads or bumpers onto the bed riser legs. We're gonna match up this little nubbin into here. I'm gonna go ahead and use a soft mallet. I put a piece of wood on my tailgate so I don't have to bend over and hurt my back. Just give it a couple nice taps in here. Make sure it's nice and secure. Just make sure it's nice and secure in there. You're going to do that with all four. Also, I do want to point out at this stage as well, when you are unboxing your ARS system, your rack system, we want to make sure to unbox everything at the same time and get all of your hardware out. Be careful when unboxing that you check all of the packing material that's in there, because they usually will wrap up the hardware in those packing materials to keep it safe from falling out or getting lost in the box. You don't want to accidentally throw that away, one, and two, some of the hardware may come in one box that's actually for another part that came in another box. So just be aware of that and put all of your hardware together in one location. Alright, now that all four of those are done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. Next, we're going to take carriage bolts, washers, lock washers, and nuts, and we're going to put two legs next to each other so we can mirror them. And we need to put on this side we've already done one, how it's on the outside pointing outward, and we're going to mirror that on this side. Only do the two, and we want it to be done lightly. So don't crank them down. Make it loose. I gotta do it this way. Okay, and that's how you want it to look. So we're going to do this with the other two and make them work as well. All right, next we're going to take our slot nuts, and this is the extrusion I'm calling face up, and this is face down. We're going to put these into our longer rails, because you have two sets of rails, the longer ones, face down with the hole going first, and then we're just going to slide those down. Then we are going to rotate this clockwise, put it in the saddle of the riser leg. And this is why you want to make sure these are super loose. You just barely want them on here, and why you want them to move. Once you have the riser in the saddle, you're going to finesse these in, which is why having this bolt, carriage bolt, squared up or clocked to a 90-degree is helpful to get them in there. And sometimes you might have to rotate it out just slightly so it slides right in. And we are going to do that with all 4, and that's why we did the mirrors of the leg. There we go. Okay. Perfect. All right, now that we have our legs into our extruded aluminum crossbar and we have our nuts in there, we're gonna go ahead and take a tape measure on the outside. We're gonna hook it and come across and get a rough estimate. As a starting point, 56 and just past 56 inches is a good spot to start for the length. And we're just gonna move our little foot out here. All right, so that we have an idea of where to start for our mounting on the truck bed, like this one looks like. Now we're going to move these gold plates that we put in previously to the approximate space that we're going to want them to attach it to the bed frame. And then we're gonna make sure that we're just gonna rotate this over onto the bed frame. Make sure that these slots are on the going toward the inside. Those are coming out. These are gonna go in. Ooh, that's okay, perfect. And this has been finger tightened. Now we can adjust a little bit and make sure that it is the exact right width and crank them down. Now that we've placed our crossbars onto the bed rail, we are going to loosely use our mounting bolts and loosely attach them in to place. All right, you may have to stick a finger back there to get the bar close enough. And we are just going to finger tight that. Maybe a little tight. All right, we're gonna get the other side. And we're gonna go ahead and do that to the back side. Once you get all 4 done, we'll go to the next step. I'm gonna take my 1/2-inch combo wrench and I'm gonna snug down our carriage bolt nuts in here on each side so that cross member is fully secure. All right, we're gonna do that to the other side and the front crossbar. We'll go to the next step. Now we're gonna take 2 T-slot nuts and slide it into the rear, the riser toward the tailgate on both sides. Did I do that the right way? I don't know. Let me look. Once this side is snugged up, you're gonna flip it around and repeat the same steps. Once you have this bracket assembled, then you're going to grab your remaining aluminum side bars, your extruded bars, and we're going to take some more of these slip nuts in the T-slip nut. They're the exact same, but it's called a T-slip nut for the bottom. We're going to slide one on each end underneath and on each side. And if you don't have little fingers, you can use this very expensive, fancy slide nut tool to slide them where you need them to be. We're going to do that to both sides. I already have one underneath the bottom there. Slide these guys in. Once those are in place, we're going to slide this into the center mount. It's going to slide right in there like that. Next, we're going to get our little guys over here. Now, using the provided hardware, all of these bolts, we're going to use that 3/16 Allen wrench, and we are going to begin threading here. And once you have a thread, we're going to slide those into there, and we're going to leave that nice and loose. We're going to do that on all four corners once we get our other bar in, and then we're going to do the next step. All right, so we lined this up back here. We did go ahead and snug these down so it won't slide, otherwise it's gonna get sloppy and fall apart on you. We're going to lift this up on its side. I'm using my tailgate to assist, so I wanna make sure it's just past the tailgate so it'll stand up. And now we've already slid this partially into place, and we are going to tighten this down in this bolt. Oh, smacked myself in the face. So tighten up. Okay. And repeat that step for the bottom. And we're just going to repeat this on the other side. Record the rest. This needs to go up. All right, so this is a tricky part, and basically you're gonna have to push your front bar all the way forward, your back bar all the way back in order to get this in. You wanna make sure that your cross bars here are a little bit loose so that you can move things around and get them slid in. It's gonna be a snug fit. We pre-threaded these so we could just slide them in there, so this will be in place. Now we can take our Allen wrench and go ahead and bolt all of this down. Once we get this, we're gonna go under with the T-slot nuts, and we're gonna line it up to our final hole here to get that snugly in place, and then this portion will be set. Now that we have centered the rack and we have all of the hardware finger tight in place, we're going to go ahead and tighten everything down. All right, so depending on which ARS rack, mid-rise rack system you get, you may have these accessory panels to install. So we're just gonna go ahead and line this up here. There are 3 bolts on both sides. All right, I'm just gonna get a nut in here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get 3 on the other side as well. Tighten those down, do both sides, and then you have your accessory panels to bolt things to. All right, so once you have your rack system all installed, don't be scared if you end up with an extra kit of hardware, because this kit is actually designed for a rooftop tent to be attached to the rack in case your tent doesn't come with a hardware set when you purchase it. Don't worry about that, and as always, there's usually a couple extra parts that ARS or Metal Cloak might send you with their hardware kits, just in case you might lose one, because y'all know we lose it somewhere, right? Thank you all for watching and staying tuned for another episode of We Darlin Garage and the install of this mid-rise Stage 4 ARS Adventure Rack Systems bed rail system. Thank you to ARS and Metal Cloak for awesome products as always and supporting us in the Jeep community and the off-road world, also including parts for Dodge Rams and Broncos. Now, stay tuned to a future video where I'll be using this hardware kit to help install my rooftop tent. See you next time!